So anyway, I thought if I dispose of the body, no one will ever know that the crime ever happened. That's handy.
That's brilliant.
So anyway, hello and welcome to the Blackdog number 171. The microphone's there, man.
I know, sure. I'm just putting shit away. Yes. Whoa, 171. Oh, it's so exciting. Only another 29 episodes to go till 200.
Yes. I've titled this, "Oh, Mr. Wu, what did you do?"
Oh, there's the review right there then.
There you go. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I got you with a T.
Fucking hell.
Yes, I got you with a T. And this week we will be reviewing John Woo's Hard Boiled. We will be doing a bit of shitty superheroes. We'll have some Jim Moon's Profanasaurus, fingers crossed, because I haven't looked on Dropbox today. And feedback and a bit of news and a bit of chat and stuff. And an update of our ongoing quest to find a pub for the Black Dog Shindig on October the 5th.
Yes, indeed. So get your thingies in there.
Get your glad rags on,
Get
Gladys.
your glad rags on.
Even though we don't know where the fuck we're holding it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But anyway, all that's to come. So, Darren, how was your week?
How was my week? Well, this week it was, or should I say last week, it was my birthday.
It is your birthday.
It was my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
50 pence and all that lot.
It's your birthday. Gonna stand in the line, it's your birthday. Gonna get your Zimmer frame, it's your birthday.
Oh, yes. So, yes, held, of course, the do on Friday. And loads of people turned up. And it was bloody good.
Yes.
Lots of beer and stuff. Sorry, I'm going to move this microphone around a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. A planned knocking. There we are.
Oh, dear. Planned knocking.
Right, a planned knocking, yes.
Wow, is that part of the birthday celebration?
Yeah, it certainly is, yes, indeed. Oh, there you
Suits
go.
you, sir. Planned knocking.
Planned knocking. So, yes,
Yeah.
lots of fun was had by all, so great night out.
Yes.
Let's see. This weekend, watched the film I've been wanting to watch for a while.
Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
No. Insidious.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. So, it's a scary movie.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's actually seen the trailers for it.
Are you just gearing up to see Insidious 2? Is that what that's all about?
No, I've been wanting to see this just basically because of the imagery I saw in the trailers. There's some quite striking...
Is this the one with Ethan Hawke?
No. This is all about a family who are going through a haunting. And
yes, with the boy.
If you've...
I'm not going to say anymore.
Don't say anything anymore, but if you've seen the trailer... you'll see some of the absolutely fucked in the head looking images of things that are going on.
Yeah.
I have to say, the first half of that movie, the hairs on the back of my head were going up and down so fast, right? So many times, I thought I was going to take off at one point.
You were causing a light breeze.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not joking, right? I sat there watching it, and it's like, it gives me a rest for a minute. And then it starts off again. And it's making the back of my head ache because the hairs are standing up that often. I kept feeling my head throbbing. Right? I'm not joking. It is just...
Right.
It's the first half of it is just extremely creepy.
So should we have done this for our indeterminate length of horror in October?
We could do it for next year or something.
Next year. We'll have to do it next year.
And then the second half of it, not so creepy.
Right.
Because then it's kind of like you've had the reveal of what's going on. You've seen sort of like what's causing problems.
Yes.
Even though the imagery is still quite disturbing, you wouldn't want to wake up and fucking come face to face with that one night.
Yep.
I'll tell you that now.
I'm
not saying too much. It's just
the other reason I'm saying don't say too much is because my daughter's upstairs. She starts hearing you talking about goose and goblins and whatever. No. Anyway,
but
go on.
Yeah, I really would recommend it.
Yeah,
I think I just wish it had carried on the creepiness and not been so in your face in the second half of the film.
Yeah,
because the first half is very subtle.
Always the best way.
Yeah, and it does build up quite nicely.
Nice.
So yes.
Lovely.
And I can, I will be interested to see Insidious 2 to see where they take this all next.
Okay, cool. And what else did you do this week?
What else did we do this week? I think...
Apart from our not pub crawl.
Apart from not pub crawl. The non-pub crawl. Yeah, the fucking... the long... Was it the fucking
long walk.
Hobbit? The long walk, yeah. The long journey home, whatever you want to call it.
The wrong way round.
Well, yeah. What else did we watch? Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy as well on Sunday.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an excellent film.
Yes.
I must admit. Very, very good indeed.
Cool.
Great performances all round. Who was it that was in there that I didn't expect to see in? even Trigger from Only Fools and Horses was in there. Even he was good as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, that's great. That's paying back for your attempt at trying to be lead Cyberman in Doctor Who that time, which was just a bit fucking ridiculous.
Yes. In his big Game of Thrones replica chair.
Yeah, in his big Game of Thrones replica chair. Yeah. So that's about it. Oh yes, I did get the world's biggest Jaffa cake as well for my birthday.
The world's biggest Jaffa cake.
It's a mythical artifact because I've never actually seen one in the flesh before.
Right.
And Laura presented that to me on the morning of my birthday.
Nice.
She went, "Your present's not here yet, but here, have this."
Nice.
And it's fucking big. You might have already seen pictures of it on my Facebook profile.
You being a borrower.
Me being a borrower, like on TV and shit.
On TV.
I have stolen this human-sized Jaffa cake.
Yes.
I should be fed for months. And it is. It's not like just looks like a Jaffa cake. It does actually taste like a proper Jaffa cake as well. So
you'd hope so if it's called a Jaffa cake.
I know, but sometimes you can get like these bigger versions of stuff, and the flavour's not quite right. But no, it smells like a Jaffa cake and everything. It's great stuff, and it's called the big one. And what I intend to do is I intend to buy about 30 of them and make a big packet and put them in and then sit there fucking having a whole entire packet to myself and going comatose by overdosing as my fucking liver shuts down.
As your body floods with insulin and kills you.
Diabetes, take me now.
Nice.
So so yes, the big one. I'll have to find out where Laura bought it because then I can reveal to everybody
the location of the holy massive Jaffa cake.
Indeed. Just one more thing, if I could pimp Laura's walk, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
It's happening on Saturday. Laura's doing. My wife is doing a 50k walk. If anybody out there can spare a few coppers to put into the pot, it's all for a good cause. It's all for cancer research.
Yep.
I'll put the link up once more.
Yes.
It's all right to put it up on the board. I'll put it there.
It is.
Indeedy. So, yes, please.
Be nice if you contributed on the board now and again.
Shut your face. You know what? Even if you put in like 7p in a button, it's fine. It's the thought that counts.
And I tell you what, if you do put 7p in a button in, I tell you what, I will match that. I will match that offer.
I will put in a big shiny button. I'll put in a packet of buttons.
I will go 7p in a zip.
There you go. Yeah, or a sausage. Yeah. Actually, I was watching an old episode of The Vicar of Dibley, and I opened the collection box, and there's like all these coppers in there in the box. All these 2 pence and 1 pence. Yeah. There's what is it? A bar of soap, a sausage, and a plastic frog. And she looks at the frog. All of a sudden, it fucking hops off, and it's like, "Fuck me, it's a real frog." So it's kind of like that.
Nice.
So anyway, what have you done with your week, Lee?
What have I done with my week? Well, I went to a dog show.
You went to a dog show?
Yeah, I went to a dog show. There was one just round the corner from here, actually.
All right.
Which was very cute, very cool. Got to meet and stroke lots of dogs, which is always good fun. Mm-hmm. Kids love all that sort of stuff. And, what else have I did? Well, I haven't really done an awful lot apart from the pub crawly thing. We're kind of sort of diving headlong into the ends of our project now.
Yes, of course.
So it's all getting a bit sort of intense. I'll tell you what I have done. I've been sitting up watching a lot of late night telly while I wait for simulations to cache.
Oh, right.
And it's only just occurred to me just how much shit is on telly, because I don't normally watch an awful lot of actual telly from day to day.
Yeah.
So after I had like a marathon of like loads of QIXL, which is like, that's fine. You just can't, but then you get to like Dave kind of does like 3 of them, and then eventually you're sort of cycling round over and over again.
Yeah.
And I thought, actually, you know what? I'll flick over the channels.
See what else is on.
So apart from like 400 sort of like gambling sites,
everything
jackpot,
everything turns into into gambling.
Yeah. Pay to play
roulette or something like that.
Yeah, digital roulette, not even
digital roulette.
Because that's
all important.
That's all important. But then I suddenly thought, you know what? I just keep going. I'm going to find the news. The news was too depressing. Fucking Assad and whatever.
Well, that's actually got a bit better now.
Well,
because the Americans are not bombing them now.
Well,
there's a solution now for the whole thing.
A solution? What, the chemical weapons come in a solution now?
Yes, they do. Yes. Now, apparently now that's all.
Anyway,
off the table.
Yeah. Well,
start feeling happy again.
Hey. So, anyways, that was the thing. Then I found a marathon on Pick TV of something called Cat House.
What?
Cat House.
Right, now this can go either way. It's either about the small fluffy felines.
Yes.
Or
it's
about something else that's fluffy.
Yes.
But it ain't a cat.
No.
Although,
Though the naming is yes.
Right, okay.
Yes. So I found myself addicted to
Addicted.
Well, it's kind of weird.
Well, the word dick is in there somewhere anyway.
It is. And I tell you what, it's the shittiest, cheapest, horriblest, most fucking awful program you could ever happen to stumble across.
Is it one of these ones where you got sort of like 2 girls or a girl talking to people who happen to call in, or somebody they're sending her suggestions by Twitter?
No, it's actually was it? It's like a documentary set in an American legalized brothel.
Oh, is it an very old one, or is it quite a modern one?
I don't know. I bloody don't know.
Because there was one they did about 20 years ago about the chicken ranch.
No. This is much more modern than that. But it's just really weird because you start off, obviously you get a bit. They put a bit of nonce at the front and the end to obviously try and keep your interest for the people who are just like flicking on through. But it's really weird. It's like sort of like Big Brother for idiots. You sit there. I mean, I'm literally sitting there, and like my computer's just doing this sim, and I have to wait for the sim because it doesn't actually save it. It basically, you have to do a playthrough of all this smoke and explosions and particles, and then you have to save it, and then you can set it to render, or you can turn the computer off, but you have to wait for it to do its bit. So I'm sitting there watching this fucking thing go chug, 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 and I've got this TV on, and the first episode came on, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh God, this is the worst kind of drivel you can ever imagine. Everyone's walking around in their skimpies except for the guy who owns the place.
Well, of course, but you're not interested in seeing him,
which is quite handy. And then it starts getting into this whole thing of like how they spend their days in between sessions, shall we say. And it's really weird. You're sort of sitting there. It's a bit like I can only imagine it's like watching something like Dog the Bounty Hunter or fucking any of those kind of pieces of old crap.
Oh, don't complain about Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Why?
I love those inspirational bits at the end of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Well, exactly. You get an inspirational bit.
Oh God, do you?
Yeah, and it's all this kind of thing of you kind of like. These girls, they're quite happy. They're quite happy doing what they're doing, and they're like, they've got all these camera surveillance around like this area where all the girls collate, and then all the guys come in and then sort of walk off with the different girls.
Yeah.
So, and they're all sort of they've got like this spy network going on around where they can work out who's the guy who's got the most money. So then they can all focus on that guy, and then they can all take their turn, sort of rinsing him for cash, and like and this other girl who's kind of like really quite into the sort of money markets, and she's like yeah you can tell because he's dressing down, he's doing this, he's doing that, he hasn't told you what he works as, he wants to get away from his job, and as you can see by the way he's holding himself, he really thinks himself something important, and it's like, and you think fucking hell. It's like sort of like it's like FBI analysis of these hookers basically working out what this guy's like, and then all of a sudden one goes, "Come on, I had a guy like that the other day. You can go for this guy." And then she comes back out it sort of cuts to fades to black, and then she comes back out and she's like, "Yeah, I made $35,000." And it's like, what?
So it's a bit like cracker, but we call it hooker.
Well, it's cracker with cracker.
Cracker with hookers.
Yeah, hooker cracker, cracker hooker. Anyway,
That's a cracker.
No, but anyway, it was just one of those things where I've kind of like, all the time it's like all fast camera moves. You get at least one flash of a boob every 5 minutes, and I'm just like, typical 2:00 in the morning shit. And I really couldn't be done with it. But the bits in between, where these girls are all just figuring out what these guys are like and what they're, he's going to be a bit rough. Let's all stay away from him. Let's keep Ron the bouncer on an eye on this guy. It's like, what the fuck? You shouldn't be hookers. You should be working for the FBI, crime prevention. Fucking profilers. These people are. And by the end of it, I'm like, I'll just do one more episode. And the worst bit is, I wasn't even. I know I'm getting old now because I'm not even watching it for the porn.
You're watching it to see how they can profile the customers.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think there is one of the CSI. CSI.
CSI non-sales.
I think it's Miami CSI or something like that. Where, exactly. Wow. Where one of the actual characters in that show was, I think she was a hooker or she was something in that line of business. Yeah. So there you are.
Yeah.
Realism.
Yeah. Anyway, complete opposite to that.
Yep.
Only film apart from the one we're going to review I watched was James and the Giant Peach.
Oh, right, okay.
Henry Selick one, with the sort of stop motion, the animation and all the songs and everything. It weren't bad. Kids enjoyed it. Well, one of them did. The other one got bored and wandered off.
Henry Selick. Do you know what? I'm pretty sure
he did. I think he did all the thing like Coraline, and he did.
Because at the Q&A afterwards with Neil Gaiman, he was there as well.
Yeah. And he also did Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, because he was talking about all of that as well.
Yeah, which is kind of very obvious because you suddenly see that there's a scene which isn't in the book with pirate skeletons, ghostly pirates. Okay. Have you ever read the book?
I did read it when I was at school, but that's an awful long time ago.
No, and it like all the pirate skeletons all look a bit like someone's just taken the model of Jack Skeleton and just sort of like stuck their thumbs in it just to make it a slightly different shape. But but it was all right. It was quite fun. But all the kids are like Katie sitting on one side, Lisa sitting on the other, all watching it.
Yeah,
and then we're sitting there. And all of a sudden, the advert for Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came on Channel 4 on the 24th. And I went like this.
Yep.
And the kids looked at me and went,
because
what was that all about?
I don't think it was made a big fanfare that it was actually coming to Channel 4 so early.
No. Well, I thought I knew it was coming soon because I got a ticket to go to a screening of it.
Oh, right.
But it was at 4:00 in fucking Hammersmith.
What, 4:00 in the morning?
No, 4:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, right.
In Hammersmith at Disney. And it was like, I had a ticket to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's 4:00 in the bloody afternoon. What kind of screening's that? And so I couldn't. Well, I just didn't go. Got offered the ticket and just couldn't go. But anyway, yeah. So I'm kind of like, I was kind of like, ooh.
Do you know what? I this morning watched the latest Marvel one shot on the Iron Man 3 disc.
Yes.
Agent Carter.
Yes, it's a good one, that.
It's an absolutely brilliant one. And I'll tell you what, even the title sequences and stuff, or the bits they do at the end, it just makes you wish it was a TV show about Agent Carter. And for anybody who doesn't know who Agent Carter is, it's the...
Haley Atwell.
Yeah, Haley Atwell, who was the love interest for Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Agent Carter.
Yeah, in Captain America. And this takes place about a year after the film.
Yeah, after he's crashed. Yeah.
Exactly. Fantastic. I mean, if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is anything like that, and I'll be most impressed.
Yeah.
No superheroics in this one at all. It's all pure sort of... And I'll tell you what, she could have played Black Widow, no problem. I mean, you look at her and it's like, you can see the whole sort of shadows of Black Widow
Yeah.
where her character is concerned. Anyway, she just really does
Yeah.
kick ass.
Kick ass. Cool. And what else did I do? I think that's been about it. I mean, literally, it's just been sitting up till stupid o'clock doing this project and watching weird TV programs on Pick TV at late night.
If you want anything good to appear on late night television, all you've got to do is say, sort of like, out loud, I'm going to bed now. Because I do that, right? I think, I'm going to go to bed now. And as I'm flicking through the channels, suddenly something will catch my eye. And it'll actually be something that you look at and you think, why the fuck are you putting this on now and not during the day when we can actually watch it?
Yeah.
You know, it's sometimes you get programs like that. It's like they do sometimes short films.
Oh, of course. One other thing that happened to me today, I had a culinary experience like no other.
Fried balls, testicles?
No.
What?
No. I basically went for the first time into a Subway.
Oh, did you have double meat?
No, I didn't have double
You
meat.
didn't have double meat?
Oh. I had a chicken and bacon ranch
Yeah.
with jalapenos and hot chili sauce.
And how did you find the experience?
And it was on Italian cheesy bread.
See?
And it was
Music.
And it was really nice, and it was a foot long.
What sauce did you have?
I had the chili sauce.
Yeah, chili sauce.
Yeah.
Because the Southwest sauce.
Well,
Lovely as well.
it was just like I started eating it, and I thought it started off with like it's warm,
Yeah.
which is always a winner for me because I don't
stick
like
it right in the oven before your eyes. Flash fry it or something like that.
I've got to say, I
bake it,
had Monterey Jack cheese as well, so lots of chili in there now. And I started having it, and so I thought, oh, this is warm. This is really nice, and because I don't really like eating cold meats. I'm not really into that, and I suddenly started eating it. By the end of it, I'm like, oh, get it in my mouth and my face. And,
oh, yeah, baby.
And it was really, really, really nice. Unfortunately for you right now, that means that there is chili, Monterey Jack cheese, and jalapenos all making their way through my digestive tract.
Boiling away there.
Yes. But anyway, before we go any further, moving on, we also have, in the parish notices, we have the departure of Mr. Hercules.
We certainly do.
Who is going off to Canada.
Leaving on the jet plane.
I don't know when I'll be back.
Or is it a catapult? I don't know.
I don't know.
Two.
Yeah, he's out in a boot.
As he left today, didn't he?
He did leave today.
He's flying over on the plane.
He has departed today.
Right.
Away to Canada. Is it Montreal he's going to?
Something like that. Mate, there surely has got to be an app for that.
Yeah.
You know, we
what?
can track
Find Herc.
Track his plane. Yeah.
Like, where's Wally?
Where's Herc today?
Well, actually, there is an app for that. There is an app for that.
Of course, there's any plane app, really, as long as we know the flight number.
Yeah, which we don't.
No.
So we don't know where he is. Anyway, so safe travels, Herc.
Yes.
And fair weather and hearty hails and all that kind of thing. Don't get eaten by bears or shot by mounties.
That's right, handy.
Yeah. So that was that. So that's in the parish notices. And the other thing was our pub yesterday. So what we're doing.
Yes, indeed, yes. Going round the quest to find a suitable venue.
Yes.
For many years, or should I say for the past 3 or 4 years, we've had... We've held the shindig at the Blue Posts.
Yes.
But we've decided to move on from that, John. In fact, we did last year with the surprise one that wasn't even organised by us.
Yes. Which meant that half the people who would have been invited didn't get invited, and so there was all sorts of awkwardness there. But
indeed.
Anyway, yes. So, there's... Well, go on, carry on. I just interrupted.
So, yes, going round, we toured 4 pubs... Or 5, actually.
5.
We did 5. We did one that we just stumbled across called the Bloomsbury.
That's right.
Yeah. And
which should have been called a cupboard.
A very expensive cupboard.
Very expensive cupboard.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are still looking into this. In fact, Laura has provided the address of the one that we went to last year.
Okay.
So I shall give you that later and we can, possibly look into that one.
So, not that you guys need to know any of this stuff and not that we're expecting any money or any of that kind of stuff, but at the moment what we're trying to do is a lot of these places are turning around and saying that we need minimum spends or a deposit.
But we do get the deposit back
If there's a minimum spend.
If we meet them.
Which we don't want to force on anyone if they're coming. That's not the point.
It doesn't matter anyway. We are kind of classing out money as it's gone.
Yeah, it's party money. We're just paying it. But the thing is, it's a case of like some people are asking for more than others.
Yes, but
somewhat
if you
unrealistically.
If you lot could see your way to drinking 600 quid worth of beer, then we'd be really grateful.
Yeah, it's like they said, how many are coming? And we went, at the moment it's like 18, 17 on the list.
17.
There's 17 people coming at the moment, which obviously could change, go up, could go down. We don't know. And like I say, if you're listening to this and you would like to come and we haven't invited you for whatever reason, because Facebook was a bit of an arse when I did the invite to everyone.
I did manage to rectify that though.
That cool.
It took a combination. I sent out an invite to, I think it was Ollie, and he's taking it now because that was
and
what we
Simon
can do.
Meddings.
I can do that as well. Yeah, that's fine. It took a combination of my phone app and Facebook online, the actual website.
Yeah.
To do it.
But anyway, so we sent out this invite and it didn't even though it says that it's been sent to 200 and odd people of the Facebook group.
Yeah.
200 and odd people clearly didn't get it. So
Indeed.
If you're listening to this message and listening to this podcast right now, then consider yourself invited. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, come along. We'll post the address.
And we will post the address on the Facebook group once we know where it is. We do have an event already on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog podcast. So, even if you're not invited, throw your name in there. If you're part of the group, you can...
if you didn't receive the invite, let us know and we'll try and uninvite you and then re-invite you.
Yeah. But anyway, so, but it was quite funny. So we sort of like, there's about 17 at the moment, probably go up to about 20, 25, something like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they said, one lady went, we need 600 quid minimum spend. And it's like, 600 quid for 20 people? I mean,
ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
So what you're basically saying is if there was 30 people, you'd need everyone to spend, roughly speaking, like sort of 50 quid each.
Something like that, yeah.
It's like, fucking hell. So that's why the quest has taken a little longer than expected.
Yeah. So we're just seeing. If it happens, if it comes down to it.
If it comes back down to it, we'll go back to the blue post. But essentially the blue post, which was nice enough, is a bit too big.
Yes.
And also the bar staff are, shall we say, less than accommodating to the hours to which they are requested to be there.
Yeah, because last year, I think, the last time we went
before.
There, we booked out the blue post, the upstairs, and it was kind of 50 quid for, whatever.
But
time
that doesn't matter. Don't worry about
11.
any of that. We're not asking for donations.
No, but I'm saying we paid the money. We paid that 50 quid in good faith, and then we got chucked out of there at 10:30.
That's right, because the guy wanted to go home, didn't he?
Yeah, it's like, well, fuck you. I paid my money. You fucking stay here.
Stay here as long as you like. So anyway, there you go. And that's a damning indictment on the blue post as well. So if anyone's listening from Sam Smith's and would like to offer us a venue so that we think better of the blue post,
show us we're wrong.
Then we're quite happy to be sponsored by Sam Smith's.
Yes.
Let's be shameless whores. Who
Let's
cares?
be shameless whores. Yes.
Everyone benefits.
Yes. Oh, I've just thought of another pub we could actually inquire about.
Okay.
It is a Sam Smith's.
Oh, God.
But it's right on top of Charing Cross. So
okay, we'll see. But anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, like I say, keep an eye on the Facebook group. Listen to the podcast because next week, one way or the other, we'll have a destination. And it will be booked and we'll all be going there. Mm-hmm. And it is, just to remind you, Saturday, October the 5th.
That's right.
Yes. So book your diary, and that's that.
And just because he threw a bit of a strop, I think, we're building it around Ollie. We're doing it in your honour, Ollie.
Yes.
Okay, because you're in London, right?
Yes.
So you have to make 2 trips down here and spend twice out. We thought, you know what? Let's get everybody down to have an appreciate Ollie weekend.
Yes, we're gonna have a stand at Ollie in the middle of the room,
and everybody's going to appreciate him,
and everyone's going to clap.
Yes.
So it's
say well done, Ollie.
So this isn't the Black Dog Shindig anymore. It's called Give Ollie the Clap.
Yes. Give Ollie the attention he so desperately needs. There you go.
Oh, he's going to bail out now.
He is, yeah.
He's going to run for the hills.
But he's got a drummer now.
He does have a drummer.
Yes.
6-claw paw has a.
Wow.
He's back to 6 claws.
Yes, they've got not 5.
Not 5 claws and a hangnail.
No, exactly.
6 claws again. So, well done, 6-claw paw.
Woo!
Get drumming again.
Yep.
Do something with a drum solo. Just appreciate the drummer a bit more.
They should have a whole track with just nothing but drumming in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's about it, isn't it? I think that's parish notices and everything. Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. So, yeah, I've done everything. I've said everything I wanted to say or needed to say.
Brilliant. Then let's do some news.
Do it.
Hey, we're gonna hear some news now.
Right, not a very good week to be working at DC News now.
Go on then, hit
Right,
me.
okay,
What's
so-
happened?
Well, first off, the latest out of the 3 pieces of news, which are all, I suspect, interrelated, but we'll kind of work backwards in a Pulp Fiction style.
Okay.
DC aren't turning up at New York Comic Con, which, given that New York Comic Con is literally right outside of their offices, is somewhat suspicious. But why, you ask? Why? What could possibly be keeping them away? Well, first off, there was this little problem where basically, do you know the latest incarnation of Batwoman?
Batwoman is she's actually long red hair,
That's
completely
the one.
black outfit, red.
Yep.
I
Yep.
do believe there is a slight there is a thing about her, sexual orientation as well.
That's correct. She is. She's obviously a lesbian, and basically, the story that has been going through a rather excellent run of comics, by the way, it's really worth checking out,
Okay.
has led up to the fact that she has basically said that she wants to marry her partner.
Okay.
Not a problem, you'd say. Enlightened times, you say.
It's like, well, that's a nice little thing of realism.
Exactly.
Or should I say,
Exactly. Except last week, J.H. Williams and W. Halden Blackman, the current showrunners, shall we say, of the comic, announced they were quitting because DC basically vetoed the marriage.
What?
Yeah, they vetoed the marriage, and they
On
said
what grounds?
they didn't really do any. They just said they didn't want the marriage to happen in the comics, and it could happen. It could happen off screen, but it didn't. It could not be in issue, as it were. It couldn't be visually represented.
Again, the question, why?
Well, you see, there was a lot of scrabbling around after that because obviously, naturally, people were like, well, what the fuck? Why? This is a really good character doing a really good run, and this is some really good...
This is like positive
This
everything.
is positive everything. She's a really cool character. She's probably the best Batwoman DC have ever had.
Isn't she quite a... Oh, no, did she evolve out of the Batgirl who had what looked like the S&M gear on with the complete face mask?
No.
That's not her.
No. But that's
Right.
I think that's Cassandra Cain, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
This basically this is Katie Kane. This is slightly different. This is a kind of relation but offshoot. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. The stories are very good. The art is superb. The whole thing's going along quite a pace. But the problem is now the story is evolving and the characters are evolving, and DC have basically gone, well, we can't have any of that, and knocked it on the head to such a degree that basically both the creators, the writer and the lead artist, have basically said, well, fuck that, and we're off.
So possibly one of the only New 52 comic books that is actually any good. And the writers or the creators are now fucking off.
Well, I think one of the creators, I can't remember the whole tweets, but essentially they listed the fact that, in the New 52, Damian Wayne gets shot in the face and dies. Oops, spoilers. There's various sort of abuse to characters such as, Catwoman, who died in the New 52.
Oh, that's right, she did, didn't she?
There's all sorts of rumpy-pumpy going on with Superman and Wonder Woman. There's all sorts of stuff going on. But the instant you want to actually show one of the characters in a positive light and try and show one of their more, shall we say, controversial for the more narrow-minded characters doing something positive, and they knocked it on the head. They vetoed it. They just nope. Anyway. Big scrabble. Big scrabble. Oh shit, And then finally, Dan Dido, who's the guy who's like the editor-in-chief at the moment of DC, turned around and said, well, basically, we kind of vetoed it because we don't want any marriage in the DC universe. We don't want our characters to be happy, and we don't really think that the heroic journey is all about being happy. It's about sacrifice. So, Aquaman being married to his queen, all that sort of stuff apparently doesn't count.
Shut the fuck up, that's why.
That's pretty much the whole thing. So that problem's rumbling on. But is that the reason why they're not turning up at New York Comic Con?
I don't know.
Well, no, because guess what? New Harley Quinn comic coming out.
Okay.
But they want to do Harley Quinn Zero. And they decided that for Harley Quinn Zero, what they would do is they would open up the challenge to have artists do a front cover. And the winner would get a chance to work at DC on the Harley Quinn comic. Great. Fantastic. Love it. Except for what Harley Quinn's supposed to be doing. And essentially, and I haven't got them on the iPad because I really didn't look them all up. But one of them is her trying to commit suicide by wrapping, meat to herself and sort of throwing herself to crocodiles. The next one is her trying to commit suicide, I think with a gun to her head. And another one is her committing suicide.
I sense a pattern.
Yeah, in a bath, naked, with knives and electric implements all turned on, with a kind of and basically throwing everything in.
They did get the actual thing that the actual the spec on this that is actually beginning a new line of comics, not ending a line of comics.
Well, it's not so much that the thing that's really kicking off at the moment is the fact that this whole thing, the brief that's been handed out to everyone for anyone who wants to submit, is essentially that she has to look sexy and naked in the bath while committing suicide. So, ergo, sexualizing suicide. And, get this, in brilliant timing, guess what week it is this week? In America. But it should be worldwide, but it probably is America.
I'm not sure.
Suicide Awareness Week.
Oh, lovely. Wonderful.
So, it's Suicide Awareness Week. Awareness of teenage suicides, people who are driven to suicide, awareness of people who fall into depression and go for suicide, and take suicide as an option to gain attention, for example. And this week, they have released a brief saying, let's have Harley Quinn trying to do imaginative, funny, and most of all, repeatedly added on, sexy suicides.
Sexy suicide, hey, because suicide is sexy.
And then
isn't
they
it?
can't understand why people are getting quite upset about it.
Jesus H. Christ, who the fuck is running DC at the moment?
Well, Dan Dido. So, yeah. So, basically...
Dan Dildo.
I don't think he had direct involvement with writing the brief. However, editor-in-chief...
Yeah, I was going to say, you get the veto on everything. This is it. I mean, if you can veto a lesbian wedding, why the fuck can't you veto this bullshit?
Yep. Yeah, so hold on, I've found it now. Here we go. So, Harley Quinn, one of the most popular and arguably one of the most sexualised female characters in the DC universe, a member of the covert group of villains called Suicide Squad. is currently working for the US government. The 4 panels that DC want fledgling artists to draw all depict Harley courting death. Panel 2 shows her hanging out in a crocodile pond covered in meat. Panel 3, sitting happily in the mouth of a whale, while the final panel is described thus. Harley sitting naked in a bathtub with toasters, blow dryers, blenders, applications of all kinds dangling above the bathtub. She has the cord that will release them all, and we're watching the moment before her inevitable death. Her expression is one of, oh well, I guess that's it for me, and she's resigned herself to the moment that this is going to happen. So, yeah, there you go. And then someone said, and a quote from DC, I don't see the problem with this, to be honest. Harley Quinn is fucking crazy to begin with, and it seems like she'll never actually pull through with any of these suicides. I mean, it's just a fictional character in a fictional universe. Who cares?
Yeah, much like it's 2 fictional female characters who want to actually get married in a fictional wedding, so who cares?
Exactly. So, there you go. So, way to go, DC.
Hey, DC, can I have one of those standards, because you seem to have a couple of doubles there. Fucking cunts.
What a bunch of cockends.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the thing is, right, if it's supposed to be done in a humorous way, which obviously is bad taste in itself, and I know we are accused of double standards because we're pretty bad taste on occasions, but the thing is, this is a whole different level of insensitive. I mean, you're talking about Suicide Awareness Week, and then asking people to depict someone being sexy and trying to commit suicide, trying to glamorise suicide, and yet people and DC themselves are actually going, well, I don't really see what the problem is. It's like, well, if you're trying to make it funny, then maybe you want to kind of put that in the brief. Maybe the brief that everyone's having the problem with.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then now there's a sort of Twitter war going on between some of the writers in DC who think that this is wrong, and others like Mark Waid and various others who are now sort of saying, well, you know, this is a comedy comic, you know, and you know, you shouldn't be, you know, Deadpool ends up committing suicide there and everywhere.
Yeah, but the thing with Deadpool is he can't die. That's it. You know, he kind of regenerates himself. So...
And Deadpool's not normally seen with his tits out in a bath.
Exactly. You know, you don't get him committing. I'm sure I've not heard of any front covers where he's deliberately committing suicide.
Well, and the thing is, even if he was, that would be wrong. But the thing is, on top of all of that, it's the sexualization of it, about trying to make it look glamorous, to try and make it look sexy. And the thing is, it's appealing to that narrow-minded demographic that just doesn't see any problem in it at all. And it kind of, you know, just when you think that comics are opening up as a medium that everyone can embrace and just like and love and enjoy and get something out of, along comes DC and just pisses right on it and says, right, okay, we only want the fat living in the basement dwellers who think the women are only there for sex.
Do you know what? The one thing this will, actually make is, cosplay competitions a lot more interesting. So, you can imagine that, can't you? Oh, and here's Jo. She's dressed as Harley Quinn from the cover of episode, 3 or 0. You know, she's just about to jump into a pit full of fucking crocodiles with half a ton of Danish bacon wrapped around her nut.
And one artist put forward an actual cover, which basically has the words on red, white words that just say, "This is gross, misogynist, trivializing, and sadly typical of DC Comics." And he put underneath, "I hope I win." So, yeah, that's pretty fucked up week for DC, really.
It is. I don't know what the fuck is going on in the world of fucking comics recently. You know, general sort of like, film comic geekery actually, with the whole. Maybe it's showing its true colours. Maybe I know not everybody who's into comics is like that. It's always the people who shout the loudest are the ones that get noticed.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Exactly. But it's just like, what with the whole fake geek girls thing? right?
Oh God, yeah.
There's that. You've got people like Tom McFarlane and what's his face?
Mark Miller.
Mark Miller coming out saying the stuff they've said. Now you've got this.
Yeah, it's just set everything back to the 1970s again.
Yeah,
I just don't understand what the fuck is going on.
I'm sorry, I thought we progressed past that. You know?
I would have thought, but you never know. Apparently not.
Well, I mean, did you see? They did. I think I think wasn't that one of the reasons one of the things they did with the new 52 was to try and tone down some of the costumes, like like Power Girl, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like look at her. I think her costume has been toned down. I think her features have been toned down a bit as well.
Yeah, well, basically that was always just the joke, wasn't it? That was the artist's in-joke, that basically, can we make the window wider and make the boobs bigger until someone notices?
Well, then they included that joke in the storytelling itself.
Yeah.
Like, oi, eyes up here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it became a bit knowing. But,
oh, dear. Anyway, so there you go.
What a load of bullshit. Do you know what? I think I'm just going to stop reading comics and shit like that. I'm just going to watch football and drink beer down a pub. I'll become like every other mundane out there. Pardon the...
every other muggle.
Yeah,
God
every other
damn it.
fucking muggle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just stopping all that shit. I'm just gonna watch nothing but fucking Big Brother and Coronation Street from now on.
Well, yeah. There isn't a lot of other news. Everything else is purely speculation. So, which bit of speculation do you want? Do you want Marvel Avengers speculation, or do you want Star Wars speculation this week?
I'll tell you what. Let's go for speculation in general, shall we?
Well, this week's speculation comes from the Twitter of Chloe Moretz.
Okay.
And essentially, what happened with her is she tweeted a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
That she's just sat through all 6 Star Wars films.
Okay.
Not really a big deal, I would have thought. However, her last tweet after all that was said, that was useful. To which everyone who seems to have 2 and 2 equals 7 tattooed on their face suddenly went, she's going to be in Star Wars 7.
It could be that she's just reading maybe some of the expanded universe novels and just would like a bit of background. How about that?
Well... Exactly.
Oh, well, that would be just too fucking straightforward for most people, but
yeah, or you know what? She could just find it useful because it's a useful bit of history.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
If she turns out to be in Star Wars 7, fine. If she does, but let's be honest, all she's done is watch 6 films and said that's useful.
You know what? I mean, she may have been doing it in a sarcastic sense as well. Maybe she didn't enjoy it. Maybe she said, well, that was useful. It's like fucking 12 hours of my life I'm never getting back again.
Yeah, exactly. And get this, gonna love this.
Go on, then.
Apparently, given that no one's seen shit about shit, so this must be genuine. Apparently, the subtitle for the new Star Wars is called A New Dawn. How much of a old cock is that, do you reckon?
A New Dawn.
Okay, we should have a cockometer.
Yes,
right?
I
How
think
much
so.
cock do you think this is toking as an idea?
We can stick it next to the Carradine.
Yeah, right next to the Carradine scale.
Carradine scale. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's like maximum cockage. That is like.
So, all right, what we do is we go right from little finger size to fucking John Holmes. All right?
Yeah.
So.
What do you reckon? I reckon this is a Peter North level of cockage.
I've never seen Peter North's cock, so
you liar!
No, I never. Honestly, he wouldn't show me. I did ask. I even offered him some Jaffa cake, but no, he wasn't whopping it out. Not at all.
I think this is one of those penis enhancement posters which has clearly been photoshopped with a bit of lens distortion on it. I think it's that level of cockage.
Right, okay. So this is good enough to be in a porn movie.
I think this is
good enough to get you noticed by the talent spotters.
I think this is good enough to be in like Legend of the Overfiend.
Is it?
Yeah,
bloody
that
hell,
level
fire.
of cock. I just think it's a complete pile of cock. But
do you know what? I really am not that interested in who's been cast in this at the moment. I'm more interested to hear about genuinely what the plot details are. Or the general, not anything too spoilerish, but
okay,
just to say, look, this is the direction we're going in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm only including this stuff in the news because sometimes we do get slow news weeks, but this Star Wars stuff is just going to get worse and worse and worse before it gets any better.
Definitely.
The other piece of speculation this week is that Kevin Feige or whatever he's called, was talking about the new Avengers movie coming up, and he started talking about the fact that obviously they want to start to try and move a female superhero to the forefront to actually make a sort of female film, a female-centric
I think I know
lead film.
I think I know where they're going with this as well.
Yeah, well, but the problem is that he said the problem is at the moment that the Marvel's schedule is 2 films a year,
Right.
schedule
okay.
leading up from here on in.
Yeah.
So you'll get Captain America and Thor, then you'll get Avengers and Ant-Man, and then you'll get another Hulk movie. So these are all slated already. These are already on the cards, and so the problem is now where would you fit this in? And the rumour going round, again, bullshit rumour, I call this probably a good 6-incher rather than a full mandingo.
Okay.
But I would say this rumour is basically they'll probably be going for Carol Danvers, a.k.a. the new Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Captain Marvel.
And essentially, because of that means you could have Carol Danvers in the Avengers as a human, because then you can bring on the whole thing of, like, she could get her powers. She could be given her powers. She can have that happen.
Well, they can
but you wouldn't necessarily get a full movie out of it. You can start this whole ball rolling of her. It could be the whole thing of sort of dropping hints in the ends. The end sections.
Yeah.
But that's the only way apparently Kevin Feige thinks it can happen without giving her own film.
Wait a minute, you don't have to give her her own film.
Go on in.
Well, you've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
Yeah, but do you know how much money they got to spend on special effects and what Carol Danvers would be required to do?
You can build up the character in that. You don't have to do over-the-top stuff in it. You could just build it up from that point. You can give it a start point there, right? They discover someone called Carol Danvers, whose powers are just breaking out.
But no, she gets the powers from an alien. It's kind of it's a kind of Green Lantern thing going on.
Yeah, and you know what? Ultron's supposed to be invented by Ant-Man, but in the new Avengers one, he's not going to be.
No, but in Ultimates he is.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about the film and TV universe of the Avengers.
Which kind of what I'm trying to say is it tends to pull more from the Ultimates simply because of the basis in more reality and the fact that it's coming at it from a fresh perspective rather than 50, 60 years worth of back history.
This is why they can do that. They don't have to have. I mean, fine. Give her powers from an alien. They can jig it another way to get it to that point. But you can have her just sort of like, the powers just appearing, and it's like they're in one episode, make an whole episode based around it, and then she disappears to go for training, and then you never see her again until fucking Avengers 3 or something like that, And if I'm guessing what they're going to do for Avengers 3, they're going to need Captain Marvel.
Well, that'll be the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that sort of stuff. That's what that's all setting up as well.
No, Avengers 3 we're talking about.
You're talking about Infinity Gauntlet.
We're talking about because they're building that up slowly. They're building up Thanos over the next 6
apparently he's going to be in Guardians.
Yes, he is. He's going to make an appearance, but they're building him up so that they can finally have him in an Avengers movie. And I think if they play the cards right and they do something like that, they drop Captain Marvel into the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just have her just appear there in there, or even a passing mention to someone like that.
Yeah.
They don't even have to show a full range of powers. As I say, she could just be starting to just manifest the powers.
Okay.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean...
And then they have an event that triggers the entire thing. Suddenly she becomes full-powered in the movie.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe she becomes an agent.
Joss, are you listening? Because we know you listen, mate.
He's always listening to us.
Go give Darren a call. He'll fill you in on the whole thing.
Exactly. Softly, softly, catchy monkey.
Yeah, there you go. You'll get there in the end, Darryl, don't you? You'll be in the writer's room.
I certainly will.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Don't worry. Season 2.
That's right. Yeah. So, not enough Black Widow shower scenes I see in this movie. What's going on there? It worked for the end of barbed wire. You can put that in there. Just over the top.
You know what I love? I love the fact that we've been all outraged about all this misogynist rubbish from
I know,
DC,
and then I
in
go
5 minutes you just
exactly.
shoot the fucking thing down with, oh yes, we need a
be
soapy
a great
tit wank
writer,
from a
yeah.
Black Widow. Soapy tit wank. We haven't got enough soapy tit wanks. Nice. Well, shall we have a Jim Moon's Profanasaurus?
Yeah, go on in.
Chow Yun Fat. Noun. Name of the coolest action star ever to fire off a handgun in a villain's face. And on a similar note, also a Geordie euphemism for oral sex.
Ah, lovely. Have you had a Chow Yun Fat?
I've all the time. After
Was that a birthday treat?
Yep, and then it's down the takeaway.
What's the taste of chips out your mouth? Oh god. Thank you very much for that, Jim. And you can hear Jim later on in the feedback, but you will also hear him on the excellent Hypnobobs, which has kicked off our X-Files crossover Shonky Dog Bob's cast.
Yeah. Look at it as like the Avengers.
Yes,
exactly. It's like building up slowly to the main event.
Exactly, which is celebrating the X-Files 20th anniversary.
Yep, we all come together around our one big podcast.
Which is actually today.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, X-Files.
Happy birthday, X-Files. So, yes, Jim's doing a 2-part influences on the X-Files, showing the things that led to the creation of the show. The Shonky Lab, Pete and Elton, are about to put out any second now a podcast about the show itself, mainly focusing on the pilot. And then next week we obviously do X-Files the movie with Elton and with Jim as guest hosts.
Excellent.
There you go. That's our modicum of a celebration for the X-Files. What little there is. But anyway, yes, I think we got the real raw end of the stick with that, to be honest.
You think so?
Well,
at least we're not watching the Billy Connolly one.
Oh, God, no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I'm not talking about having Jim on the cast. That doesn't make it the raw end of the stick.
No, it's not that at all. That's the sweetener, I think, for doing this one.
That's the only reason we're doing it now.
Yeah, is that we get to have a fun podcast afterwards with with Jim and Elton. Yeah, because that'll be more fun off mic than it will be on mic. But anyway, sorry, I digress. Right, so yes, listen to Hypnobobs, which you can find on Geek Planet Online, and you can also get it on hypnagoria.com. And you can also get it on iTunes, and it is worth a listen. Go listen now and give him a review. In fact, give everyone that we mentioned a review. Yeah,
they all bloody
reviews.
Need reviews.
And make about several different accounts, and then just go and
The Blackdog it da bomb. It was the bomb in Phantoms.
What up, bro?
Yes,
bruv.
Yes.
Geezer.
I did done like that Blackdog, and that Hypnobobs ain't too shabby either, and stuff from Geezer 7575.
Yeah,
or something. Fucking hell. Anyway, what's next on the old schedule? We'll have to have a look on the old iPad, Rooney. Why are you rolling your eyes like that?
I know what's coming.
What do you mean you know
it's
what's coming?
It's signposted like a signpost.
No, we're going to review Hard Boiled.
Okay.
No, we're not. We're going to do Shitty Superhero.
Where have all the heroes gone? We're left with all the knobs. I just want one Superman and not this bunch of slobs. Not a single one of them could take on Mr. Freeze. They're so lightweight they could get blown away in a stiff breeze. The shitty heroes, the Spanish costumes are just a little bit too tight. They're not very cool and they're not very fast, and they're most likely die in a fight. The shitty heroes, just one look at these dudes and you know they ain't right. Marvel DC doesn't mean much to me because they are a total shite.
Hulk smash! Puny lunch singer.
Right, okay, so shitty superhero for this week is, given how we've been talking about how sexist and generally misogynistic and generally fucking lame-brained and pathetic and lowbrow some comics are, this one kind of is rather apropos.
All right, okay.
Just seems to have turned up on the list, and just on the list in the right order, and so it's almost like my shitty superhero list was kind of predicting all of this shit that DC were going to go through. This one is from Image Comics.
Okay.
And she featured twice in the comic Savage Dragon. If you ever remember Savage Dragon, it was like a sort of like a Hulk kind of guy with a big fin on his head.
Yeah, I know. I
Kind
remember
of
the
a-
image, but it's like what his powers and shit were. I don't know.
Yeah, well, basically, anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was a crappy comic, and crappier characters were formed out of it. But it was kind of like an attempt to do a sort of Hulk, Wolverine, badass, freaky
He
mutant.
walked around in a vest quite a bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So being this kind of part man, part dragon thing obviously means you come across some freaky ass characters in an escalation to, make things more dramatic. But none came in more of a dramatic fashion than Fluella.
Benjamin?
No, Fluella. Her name is Flo. She only turned up in 2 episodes. She was a villainess,
Yeah.
and she came from Chicago. And she was one of the Freak Force's bounties. Well, there's no real easy way to say this, but her superpower, and the reason for her name, which will become instantly apparent, is that she can fire high-pressured menstrual blood from her
my.
genitals.
God's sake. What?
Her superpower is to fire period blood out at high pressure. And her name is Heavy Flow. And guess what? She's quite a big chunky lass as well.
Fucking hellfire.
Yeah, just when you thought comics couldn't sink any lower, Heavy Flow. I mean, I have to say, I'll be honest with you, this one actually made me kind of go, oh my god, when I first found it. But I'll just leave you with that image there. You can just take it from there and work out the rest. Would you like to describe that for the ladies and gentlemen of the audience?
She's bent over and she's firing this stream of menstrual blood. I mean, it is very thick. It's like as thick as a trunk of a tree.
It's like
This
someone's
blast.
opened up a fire hydrant.
So she's got a crotchless uniform on then, basically.
I do you know what? I'm proud to say I've never read Savage Dragon.
Nor have I.
It came out. Do you know what's really interesting? Is it came out from the same stable and the same year as Spawn. Kind of sums it all up.
Holy Christ.
Yeah.
Wow, body form. Body form.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I genuinely, I saw that one and I thought, oh, that'd be quite funny. And then I just sort of, the more I looked at that image, I just thought, no, that's not funny at all. That's just fucking sick.
Christ almighty.
But popular enough to come back for a second time. So, Darren, what do you think of that? I'm sorry.
To repeat one of my phrases from earlier, bloody hellfire.
Oh my word! There's no need for that.
I can't. It's beyond words. It really is.
It genuinely is. I
don't know what to say. Really.
Well, it can't get any worse than that.
How does it get past people like the editor? Or something like that.
I don't know. I think it's because Image Comics was kind of like created. It was a creator-led thing, so Todd McFarlane could make Spawn, even though Spawn was essentially a pretty boring character, And Jim Lee and I can't remember who else did Savage Dragon. Could do that because they are the only people running the show. It's kind of that whole thing of that's why we have editors, because otherwise shit like this gets through. Rob Liefeld with Youngblood. Liefeld shouldn't have even been on the fucking page, but can't draw feet and makes people look like socks full of walnuts. But, he did, and he was, and there you go, the rest is history. But, yeah, there you go.
Fucking heavy flow.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's that. So, we'll get into a less... Well, I don't know what we'll get next week. I haven't even looked at the list yet.
I fear next week. Shitty superhero.
Well, we had a guy made out of evil shit, and now
we did.
And now we've got a woman who fires high pressured menstrual blood. God. All fun and games here. Oh, I tell you what. When are we gonna get our sort of midnight TV series? Anyway. Shall we have the rose tinted specs?
Yeah, I think we better.
Let's do hard boiled.
Oh, crackling rosy tinted specs. We're gonna take us an old film and then review. That's what we'll do. We do it for you. I can turn invisible if I try real hard.
Okay, there you go. A bit of a blast from the past with the old jingles there.
It was one of the first ones we ever did, wasn't it, that one?
I think it was the first one we ever did.
Wow.
There you go. That's why it didn't end with him dying.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, does it?
No, there you go. Right, so, Hard Boiled. John Woo directed, starring lots of people that I cannot pronounce, but I will certainly give it a go. Starring Chow Yun-fat, Tony Leung, Theresa Mo, Philip Chan, Philip Kwok, Anthony Wong Chow, and Sang Baoi Lam. There you go. I actually did that.
And John Woo.
And John Woo, yeah. Yeah, John Woo being the bar bloke that just turns up for no discernible reason other than just...
I'm a frustrated. I've always wanted to be Yoda. This is my Yoda part.
This is my Yoda moment. It was released in Hong Kong on April 16th, 1992. It had a budget of $4.5 million.
You should just end it there. It had a budget.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Moved on.
And it ended up taking $19 million.
So what was the budget again? It was
$4.
Oh,
and
it made some cash back.
Yeah, it made some cash back at the time. It made more money on the second release in the States, but that doesn't get counted to its initial box office.
No.
The film was originally developed in 1990 after creating films which focused on the lives of gangsters. Director John Woo wanted to make a film that glorified the police instead. Woo admired Clint Eastwood and Dirty Harry and Steve McQueen's characters from Bullet, and wanted to make a film in his own Hong Kong style. While creating the character, Woo was inspired by a police officer who was strong-willed and tough member of the police force, as well as being an avid drummer. This led to Woo having Tequila's character being a musician as well as a cop.
Jazz flute, yeah.
Before production started, Woo told his actors he was not going to make a film as stylish as his previous films. But to have it more an edgy thriller. The role of Teresa Chang was originally made for Michelle Yeoh, who had a long relationship with producer Terence Chang, but after casting Theresa Mo, the character was rewritten. The film's initial story about Tony Leung's character being a psychopath who would poison baby food. But when Terence Chang was making connections to have John Woo make the film in the United States, Chang found people uninterested or disgusted with the theme of babies being poisoned. This halted the production for a month or so to develop a new story, and screenwriter Barry Wong was brought in to rewrite the story and make Tony Leung's character being an undercover police officer. After writing the first part of the script, Wong went on vacation outside of Hong Kong, where he died, leaving the script unfinished.
Well, that explains some stuff.
Yeah, it was later the remainder of the script was written by John Woo.
Right.
There you go. The film took 123 days to shoot, and although Woo told his cast that the film would be more gritty and not as stylish, Hard Boiled became more stylish as filming continued. The tea house sequence in the film was shot before the script was even written. The crew around the tea house crew found a tea house that was going to be torn down and decided to film the scene there. Woo saw the staircase in the tea house and thought that about a scene where a character would come down shooting guns at smugglers while sliding down the banister. And that's where that whole thing came in. Was that your stomach?
That's my stomach.
Did the
yes.
microphone pick that up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But they all know about it now, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Anyway.
It's more of a...
Woo changed the ending of Hard Boiled after many members of the crew of the film felt that Tony Leung's character should survive the film's ending. Even though it was very clear that he wasn't getting out of that.
No. Unless it was in a Tesco shopping bag.
Yeah. In fact, there was, during the filming of the hospital sequence, an accident occurred while filming when it actually turned out that real glass was being used, and a few pieces actually flew into Tony Leung and he got them in his eyes.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He was sent to hospital and the whole production had to halt for a couple of weeks. Woo was a fan of jazz music and wanted that style of music for the soundtrack for Hard Boiled. He's previously wanted to be a singer and perform his own jazz song, and to have Chow Yun-fat's character play a saxophone was a motif he wanted to have in his previous film, The Killer. Thank God he didn't. Anyway, the producer for The Killer actually rejected this idea, feeling that Hong Kong audiences didn't enjoy or understand jazz music. Other songs featured in the film include Hello by Lionel Richie and Mona Lisa by Nat King Cole.
Right.
But there we go. And interestingly, this film did spawn a sequel.
Did?
Yes, it did, in the form of a video game. One of the first films to actually do that sort of thing, of kind of cross media.
Yeah.
Stranglehold, which was starring Chow Yun-fat.
Can currently be bought from any blockbusters, brand new for £3
for £1.50, or purchased on Steam for a donation to the Child's Play charity. But yeah, it was actually featuring all the same characters, same situation scenarios, and featured Chow Yun-fat's character Tequila touring the world looking to try and find the police chief's daughter.
Right.
The film was generally received very well on its initial release. Rotten Tomatoes reported that 94% of the critics had given it positive reviews. And yeah, New York Times said that Mr. Woo does in fact seem to have be a very brisk and talented director with a gift for flashy effects and bizarre confrontations. And they continued, with Hard Boiled, John Woo shows himself to be the best director of contemporary action films anywhere. Yeah, the film got lots of awards at the 12th Hong Kong Film Awards, but primarily for Best Film Editing, and Tony Leung was nominated as Best Male Supporting Actor. And that's about as far as I'll go. There is probably a little bit more, but frankly, let's get moving. So, Darren, what did you think of Hard Boiled?
Right. Yeah, I basically, to me, all it seemed like were gunfights with little bits in the middle that weren't gunfights.
Gunfights are not gunfights.
It was binary gunfighting,
Yeah.
1 or 0. That's
you
all it
either
was.
are or you aren't.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Are we gunfighting in this scene? No, we're not gunfighting. Okay. We'll do something. Fill it in. Put a bit of story in there. To me.
Yeah.
And this, obviously, this is maybe it's a case of the Emperor's New Clothes, and I'm just not seeing the clothes, But to me, this film seemed like a bit of a mess.
Right.
Okay. You've got this bit at the beginning where they're suddenly, for no reason, they're pulling out bits of paper and singing songs. There's no somebody receives a bunch of flowers, and it's not like the girl says, right, okay, another bunch of flowers from our mysterious, message sender or whatever. I wonder where these are all coming from. Who keeps sending it? Nothing like that. She starts singing a song and writing down the notes, and you're looking at it thinking, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I know it's explained later on, and maybe they should have done something like that closer to the first event.
Yes.
Because I thought, okay, now the film, now it's explaining certain things, like, about fucking 75 minutes in. Now it's, right, okay, I get what you were doing now.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
You could have done this earlier. I might have found it a bit more interesting. But it's kind of stuff like that I started losing interest in. I'll tell you one thing that didn't help at all, right?
Yeah.
Is the comedy subtitling in this film.
Yeah.
Because at first, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
What's happened is you've got somebody, it's as if somebody killed the subtitler halfway through and replaced him with someone else who had like jazz style. Okay.
A scatological style to typing.
Exactly. The first person who takes the reins with the subtitling is like, right, okay, we've got the script here. What we'll do is we'll pop the actual sentences as soon as that character starts speaking.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's what we'll do. Right? So I'm going to bang it all out now. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go. Have your subtitles.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a midway point in the film, right?
Yeah.
And the new subtitlers come in and gone, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to what they say, and then I'm going to type it out, and then I'm going to put it on screen. Right?
Yeah.
So you get these periods of them saying something,
and
there's 2 seconds of nothing on screen, and then all of a sudden, the words come up.
Right.
Right? Now, it's fine up to a point, I suppose.
Yeah.
Up until there's an exchange going on, because all of a sudden, if you look away from the screen for 2 seconds, you get distracted for a second and turn back. Suddenly, the conversation gets a bit surreal. Because you've got the next character saying the previous character's line. It's just like, what the fuck? What is he talking about? Where the fuck is this going?
Get out of my house.
Exactly. So
Max Warhorse.
You have to, and then it's kind of like it's making you like watch the screen, watch it. I was really tempted at one point to just go fuck this and just put the fucking overdubbed track on. We've got a criminal, ha ha ha. That sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my name is Tequila.
Yeah,
You've always got a character who talks like this.
Yeah, and another one who always goes,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, does that sort of thing in the background.
Yeah,
but that was just it was just really annoying.
Yeah,
it was distracting to say the least. That they couldn't get the subtitling synced up properly. And so comedy, or should I say jazz subtitling, subtitling. Just fucking.
It
put
wasn't
it up on
the
screen.
words that were there; it was the words they left out. That's what you got to listen for.
Yeah, and another thing as well. Sometimes when they put the subtitles up, because they've left it so long, sometimes they're gone within a second. It's like a blipvert. It's like as if it's going to subliminally implant it on your mind. So you're sitting there eating dinner, all of a sudden you see the words flash up in your head.
Right.
And it makes you want to pick up a AK-47 and go stand at the top of a tower for absolutely no reason you can tell. I want to pop off shots at people.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can see what I do with my Sunday afternoon.
Exactly, yeah. There you go.
So, yeah, I thought it's a bit... I'm sure there are lots of people who think this film is fantastically brilliant, and they've got a real deep love for it. But for me, it just couldn't hold my attention. Do you know what I was thinking near the end of the film?
Go on.
I'm thinking, I'm going to miss fucking Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy in a minute. Like, will you fucking get a move on? Get your finger out and get to the point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I think I missed the first 6 minutes of Tinker Tailor, thankfully. It was only 6 minutes. But I looked up and went like, we're missing the fucking next film.
Turn it off.
Exactly. Can you get on with it?
They all die at the end.
I don't know. I'm not waiting around for a post-credit sequence.
No, I wouldn't.
There probably wasn't any anyway.
There wasn't,
but,
no.
Yeah. So, I've got to say, I didn't really enjoy this film. It's not one I'm going to be watching again. Definitely not. It's too fucked. It really was. It's just by the end of it, I was, fucking get on with it. I just, stop, do something.
Yeah.
Don't just shoot people. Just, do something.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, when I watched it, let me just give you a little bit of background, because I know this is the first time you've ever watched it.
It's the first time I've ever seen it.
Because I've got to give you a bit of background on mine, because then that way it makes a bit more sense. When I first watched this, we got it on an import VHS.
Yeah.
And me and Jess had already been into the sort of John Woo sort of action thing. Better Tomorrow 2. Then there was The Killer and various things like that. So for us, we were watching it back in the 90s, and there was nothing as crazy as this. Now, and it is crazy, because that's the other thing.
They're bonkers films. The gun battles is just over the top. They really are.
Exactly. That bit in the warehouse where he's like shooting random bikers out of the air.
Yeah. And that's another thing as well, right? Sorry, just to say.
That's right. I don't mind Nancy's flashbacks.
The other bit where they're in the fucking the big sort of like aircraft hangar, and they're doing the cars and whatever.
Yeah.
When Chow Yun-fat comes swinging in
like Tarzan,
it's like, how are you managing this? Where's this line coming from? It's like, the line itself, right? The point of swing is supposed to be behind him, because he's coming from there. But suddenly it's in front of him, and it's as if he's just floating along. It's hovering. He's got like a hover ability.
It's that same
levitation.
It's that same travelling pivot point whip that Indiana Jones had in number 4, when he swings and goes along with the car for about a minute.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway,
I haven't seen such crazy swinging since the 1980s version of Spider-Man in the fucking TV show, where he just seems to fire and get his, there's like passing asteroids or something.
He's hooking on the
swinging
cloud.
off of, because it's like there's no buildings there. You're just firing up in the air. Where are they going?
Yeah. Would you like to swing on a star? Anyway, so that's cool. It's called acid flashback. All you want, just. But the thing with that was the thing. It was always like, wow, this balletic kind of slow mo. Guns never run out of ammo. It was like back in the 90s, early 90s. At that, just turned from like the late 80s to early 90s, and it was like, oh man, this is fucking wicked. This is, and I think it's that kind of film which is always made me have a pass for things like Crank and Shoot 'em Up. These crazy, batshit crazy sort of like action films, which are worse in some respects than things that I really hate, like The Expendables. But they're just so batshit crazy, you just go, yeah, fine, okay, I'm going along with this. So from that perspective, I see Hard Boiled as a bit of a progression through that kind of crazy gunplay, up to eventually ending up with something like Crank and Crank 2. That's how it starts, right?
Yeah, I would view Crank and stuff like the Jason Statham sort of, like the transport, the actual sort of frenetic movements. I would actually look at them more of a Jackie Chan movie, because of the way he uses the environment when he's doing combat.
Yeah, but I mean,
tea tray in the throat and shit like this.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's loads of influences. What I'm trying to say is just that continual escalation of just, it starts off as like, we've got one gun, then you've got two guns, then you're hitting someone in the face with a teapot, and then 5 minutes later you're killing people with birds or setting fire to fucking flour.
And to top it all off, you are deflecting a fucking RPG with a tea tray up the fucking chimney.
Yeah, But which then lands on the car outside and blows everyone up.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's that kind of lunatic stuff, like with Clive Owen shagging Monica Bellucci and Shoot 'Em Up. Yes, managing while having sex to actually kill 12 SWAT guys invading the room. Total mental, and that kind of mental action I kind of go with, and I think it's due to this kind of like evolution through these Hong Kong balletic action films. Now, I'm just leaving now. Just that's back then.
Yeah, you see, I wouldn't. You see, you using the phrase balletic.
Yeah.
To me, implies grace, and there's no grace in this at all. It's just people chucking bullets at one another.
No, exactly.
From a newspaper.
Fucking balls of wall. Fucking doors.
Exactly.
No, but that's the thing. It's a case of. I think this is a case of time not being kind to it, because I tell you what, like I say, having never seen anything like that, like The Killer is a very good example. The thing with The Killer, there's a whole sequence in a church, which even has like the whole thing of kicking guns up in the air, reloading them and grabbing them, and then doing like two guns in two directions, kind of Assassin's Creed style stuff, which is really cool in my mind. Because I haven't seen it in about 25 years, and I'm almost afraid to see it again. But that kind of shit, without that kind of shit, and then Woo obviously breaking out into the US, you would never get anything like Crank. You would never have got something that mental and hyperkinetic. Anyway, so that's all in the back of my mind. And I sat down last night to watch it. And all I could hear in my head... right, was Dean Lerner going, anything that didn't have dialogue was option for slow-mo. He was like, yes, anything that didn't have dialogue was option for slow-mo. And it was just like, I suddenly went from, wow, this was really good gunplay, to this is weird. It's a weirdly laid out film, and things just happened for no discernible reason, and it was like Scooby-Doo, because it was just like one minute it's like it's all super secret. He's a secret agent and secret undercover cop, and Chow Yun-fat's been saved by him 3 times already.
Yeah,
and yet then all of a sudden Chow Yun-fat just turns up on his boat, and he's like, how did you find him? B, how did you follow him? And C, what the fuck are you doing on his boat? And you've worked out he's an undercover agent with no information whatsoever. And there was lots of that kind of stuff going on. And the problem was, as soon as that happened, I mean, it wasn't that scene in particular. There was other scenes. I think there's one where the bit with the flowers, for example. There's a kind of implication that she used to be his girlfriend, and then she moved out, and then you never really find out what happened there. And there's all these flowers.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's just like, I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm worried more about where the flowers are coming from...
How did you pay for those?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, where can you get white roses in this time of the year? I mean, but the thing was, it was like, as soon as that starts to happen, as soon as you start to question a mental action film like that, suddenly it's lost something. And for me, like I say, you can watch Crank 100 times, and it's as stupid as it is, the day is long, but it's just so frenetic and so fucking insane that you just go... Fine, it's Jason Statham in a smock running down the street with a hard-on electrocuting himself. Fine, I'm there. I don't care. Whatever.
The combat, though, in that, it does follow it. You can see how well choreographed it actually is, because it's the timing of everything that they do in that. But that's a fun thing to watch.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying time hasn't been kind to Hard Boiled, and I suspect probably Better Tomorrow and The Killer, because all of those things which were originally developed in those films has now been taken and over 20 years polished and refined by American action films, by people who, like me, watched these things and went, "Oh, I'll make an action film just like that."
Well, you even see the influence of something like this in Wanted, where Angelina Jolie skids the car around and picks up.
Oh yeah, and then there's the same thing
in the car. He gets him straight in the fucking passenger seat.
And there's the same thing with that William Wisher getting out of the car in that Nicolas Cage thing where he's the devil, or he's escaped from hell or something like that.
Yeah,
Drive Angry.
Red as well. Red.
Yeah.
The retired and extremely dangerous.
Yeah. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Bruce Willis getting out of the car and whatever.
Exactly, but all of that stuff all kind of slowly draws back to these kind of old 80s and 90s action Hong Kong action films. The problem is that that we've now seen this stuff and it's been done so much better over so much time that I think it's really impacted on these films. Because whereas they felt really dynamic and lots of stuff going on and slow motion was used to kind of show you how fast everything's moving, now it feels like the difference between watching like one of these super hyper choreographed dance moves that you see in like on all these kind of X Factor things, and then kind of going back to Pan's People where they'd sort of be dancing and it was all very nice at the time, but then you'd get slow motion of them kind of like at 4 frames a second hopping around and you're like, oh, doesn't look nearly as impressive now with I mean, the ladies are lovely to look at and stuff, but frankly, it's kind of lost something in the translation, and that was the big shame. I sat there all the way through it. After about 5 minutes, just going, why are we slow mo again? Why are we doing this again? Why is this happening? And the problem is, crazy action films. If you're going to do crazy action film, and with the modern sensibility with a crazy action film, then the instant you start questioning it, it all falls apart like a deck of cards. That's the thing. Expendables and all this kind of stuff. The reason those things don't work for me is because I'm not engaged. And as soon as I'm not engaged, I'm sitting there, instead of watching the action going, oh, look, woo, oh, look at the funny action, woo, like I do with Crank, and don't ever sit with me watching Crank because I'll do that. Oh. But the thing is, as soon as you do that, it's like, okay, fine, bring, I'm along for the ride. Just be as stupid as you fucking like. Punch a helicopter out the air with your teeth. I don't care, whatever.
As long as it's done well.
Exactly. And as long as it barrels along at such a pace that it is a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, I'll go with it. But this was just like, I really, really wanted to love it. I really wanted to recapture the magic of watching it that time for the first time when this kind of thing never existed. Because back then...
Can't go back there.
No, but that was the thing. It was that whole thing. It was like, back then, that was like watching Crank.
Yeah.
That was like watching an Expendables or some crazy shit, fucking batshit mental action film. Because you just go... They're not running out of bullets. This is fucking mad. Or he's on fire and he's going to jump out of a hospital room with a baby. The baby's pissed on him and he's been saved by some piss. And it's like, back then it's like, this is fucking insane. He clears out an entire aircraft hangar with a shotgun that can hold like 2 rounds before you need to refuel, but he manages to somehow shoot 20 people and like two bikes, and they don't just get shot, they explode.
Yeah, we noticed that. It's like I'll tell you what, I'm going to just show my fuel tank to you by going up this ramp and wheeling out,
And that was the thing, because that was the other thing which was really annoying for me as a rewatching it, was that it's like, obviously there's this whole thing, don't do things, CG, because that can be quite boring. And there was all this physical stunts going on, some really impressive stuff going on, and some of it, I mean, lots of people flying off of bikes and smashing through walls, and as we now found out, half the glass is actually real glass, and so, smashing through windows and shit like that. And yet I'm sitting there going, that's quite a pedestrian shot, really. That bike's just gone up in the air and come back down, and the fireworks gone off in the middle, and the guy's still driving it, and and things like that. And it's just like, as soon as you do that, it's just like, oh god, another little bit's chipped away at it. And by the end of the film, I was a bit like you. I was just like, actually, you know what? I could probably just put this on 2.5 times speed and I wouldn't have missed a hell of a lot.
Nope.
And then there was lots of things where people get shot really, really fucking badly, and yet still manage to get up and carry on fighting. And again, most action films, that isn't a problem. You see this shit, you get the diehards and all this kind of thing, with, he's leaking blood out of his feet because he's been lacerated 1,000 times. He should be dead from blood loss, but the action carries you along. Whereas in this, Tony Leung literally gets a shotgun blast in the spine through the roof of his boat.
Yeah, he does. And yet
he still manages...
Kind of a plus.
Yeah, he gets up, kind of runs around, kills a few people, kills another couple of people, and then runs down the dock and says, okay, right, fine, don't worry about me. Jump off the dock, because the other guys are coming. It's like, wouldn't you be more inclined to sort of say, excuse me, I think I've actually lost my spine to a shotgun blast at point-blank range? And let alone run, wouldn't you just totally be dead?
Yeah.
I mean, and again, back to the same thing. As soon as you puncture that fabric of unreality, everything just goes, and it's like, I don't care anymore. And it's a real shame. I was really looking forward to just seeing something a bit more pepped up and actiony, but we ended up with something that in hindsight, feel like I've kind of lost another little bit of my love of another little classic in the back of my head has slowly been chipped off.
Yep.
And like I say, I'm now really worried about ever watching The Killer, because The Killer I thought was superior to Hard Boiled. It's a much better story. But I'm now thinking, it's all I'm going to get in the back of my head is, it's anything that wasn't dialogue was optioned for slow-mo. The exact amount of script lines we had was amounting to about 30 minutes, and we had an hour to fill. And that was it.
Do you know what I think of? What I hear in my head whenever I see John Woo?
Go on.
Is hit him harder. Remember the Mission Impossible
with
special
Ben Stiller?
With Ben Stiller pretending to be Tom
harder.
Cruise's stunt double. Yeah, hit him harder.
Yeah. That was the whole thing. The fucking character development, such as it was just pointless. I mean, the girl does the singing and working the codes out.
Yep.
From the song, right? Okay. And she has nothing to say to Tequila from 1 minute to the next, and yet by the end of it, when they're in the hotel, she just turns up, and he's putting his arm around her like, "Hey, we're all back together again." How did that happen?
Yeah, obviously off screen.
Exactly, along with Batwoman's lesbian marriage. Sorry. So yeah, overall, I didn't hate it, but I did feel extremely disappointed and hollow because I was willing to give it a lot more string than you were, because you've never seen it before, but I had a lot of...
I've got no emotional attachment to this film whatsoever.
That's the problem. I did. I was like, come on, give me some sort of mad fucking stunts and ultra violence, and the shots in the tea house I always remember being really good and amazing.
That was a bit weird.
And it was like that tea house thing just went nowhere. It was just like, we're all gun runners, but we've all got the guns in the bird cages, and how does Tequila even know they're there? And
who knows?
And as soon as his mate just seemed to be like, had a sign on his head saying, "I'm dead," literally from the first line. What are you going to do when you leave the town? I'm not going to leave the town. I'm going to be born here. I'm going to be dying here. It's like, me and the wife, and it's like, and here's a picture of my kids, and it couldn't have said dead anymore if someone actually
Lieutenant
branded
Deadmeat.
Yeah, exactly. Stamped it on his forehead, and then they shoot him, and then he gets up, and then they shoot him again, and then 5 minutes later he's going, no, I'm fine, and then they shoot him again. It's like,
should have been called fucking Zombie Cop.
It was one of those films where you just sort of thought, what did it take to kill some of these people? Like the first guy, the guy who
How many bullets? I mean, fuck me. The ammunition stack for those fucking weapons.
Yeah.
You don't really see them reloading at all. It's
but I mean, that was a styly thing. That was like I say, that's the crank effect. That's just we're not worried about that. Let's just shoot. The comic thing. But the bit that got me was the guy who kills his partner.
Yeah.
who you end up sliding down the banisters, kicking in the door, and then putting the gun to his head and then shooting him to get the blood bukkake.
Yeah.
But that guy got shot in the knees in the first 2 seconds of that gunfight kicking off.
Yes, he did.
Twice.
He got better.
And then they shoot him in the back of the leg. And he falls over. And then he somehow still manages to make it down the stairs, beat people out of the way, and then shoot people as he goes.
Oh.
I mean, it was like...
Oh, mental.
The level of carnage that this guy was wreaking and was hoping to get away. I mean, it's just like... But it's like, how are you doing this? You've got bullets in the knees, you've got bullets in the calves, and you're standing at the top of a staircase and you're still killing cops and people and running around.
I think I need to lie down.
Yeah, I can smell almonds. Anyway, so yeah. So overall, for me, I really wanted to love this film again. But it just...
No.
Well, it wasn't that I hated it. I didn't hate it. I just felt really hollow.
Yeah.
I really felt like... I really did feel like, oh, another one.
No.
It's not quite Clash of the Titans,
No.
but it did have that hollow, I wish I hadn't done this. The memory was better than the reality.
Well, now you know now, don't you?
Yeah. So, should we do some feedback?
Yeah, go on then.
Now put your hands up, here online, doing real fine. We're doing our podcast thing. It's called Blackdog, it's not like a joke. Is anyone there listening? What do you think of our show? Let us know by MP3 or email. Just get it to us, it ain't no fuss. We'll even read your Twitter rings. Cause if you like us or you hate us, send some feedback in. Gotta geek upon to rates and put some feedback in. If you think my voice is sexy, put some feedback in. Man, we really like it if you put some feedback in.
Right, okay, so feedbacks. The first piece of feedback is from Gareth Lloyd.
Hey,
Gareth.
Gareth Lloyd.
Gareth Lloyd. Yeah, there you go. That's what you get for being first, you see. You get the whole song.
But
Almost.
Gareth, of course, you won't be getting one of those live because, well, you've decided not to come to the shindig this year.
Don't start persecuting everyone, you bastard. No one will come. or worse, everyone
Yes,
will
they
come.
will.
Everyone will come, and there'll be like 1,000 people there. And
Yeah,
be like,
well,
oh,
Shanghai,
fuck.
every single one of them.
Or people off the street. Anyway, back to the bloody feedback, you bastard. Anyway, yes. So Gareth writes. Oh God, I need my glasses. He didn't write that.
No.
Hello, chaps. Well, it was a lot of fun catching this film again. I'd seen it ages ago, late night on Channel 4, and loved it, and watching it again is still brilliant. Yes, lots of the shots and the tropes now look a bit samey, but it's still only because they've been imitated in countless films. Yeah, exactly as I said. The story is good, the pace rattles along, and the actors are great, especially Chow Yun-fat, who's seriously cool here, and the action, while over the top at times, is thrilling. Definitely rose-tinted specs for me, though I have to agree with Lee that the killer is slightly better. So thanks, guys. Gareth.
Oh,
There you
cheer,
go. Thank
Gareth.
you
That
very
was
much.
straight to the point.
Yeah, I'm glad he liked it, because like I say, I was a bit worried that everyone would be like me and just kind of go, oh no! And I'd hate to be the one to do that to people. I'm already being hunted down for spawn and everything else. Hunted for sport. But anyway, so the next one is from Ollie. Sorry.
Sorry, I've just got this Hunger Games thing of
Chasing me
you
down.
in the tree with the bow and arrow and shit like that, you know.
Something out there that shouldn't go man. Right, okay, let's pass you over. You can have this one. It's Ollie Peters, Six Claw Paw.
Ollie.
With his dew claw reattached.
Yes, indeed,
Yes.
yes.
Drummer claw.
Six claw enabled.
Yeah.
So he
Power
says...
extreme. Sorry.
That's right. So Ollie writes, "Hey dudes,
Hello.
so sat down to watch Hard Boiled as I've never seen it before, and after watching it, I probably won't watch it again. Didn't really enjoy it. A lot of action, but just didn't hold my attention. And every time my mind wandered, I missed what was going on, and missing the subtitle. I've missed what's going on and missing the subtitles. Yeah, a bit like us, really, or should I say me, yeah. At first I thought I was watching some weird porn, what with the cheesy jazz. The bits that made me laugh, though, were the amount of civilian deaths, more carnage than Man of Steel. The amount of bloody bullets used was mind-boggling. Now, I'm not a gun aficionado, but surely those guns didn't hold that many bullets.
No.
I thought the bad guy with one eye watched the Terminator movies too many times, and a very disappointing amount of hand-to-hand combat for who was in it. Oh well, till next time, Ollie. P.S. We got a drummer. Hopefully he'll last.
Yes. Unless, of course, it's like they're the modern Spinal Tap, in which case he's going to get killed in a lawnmower accident next week.
Yeah, 33 drummers for his band.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that, Ollie, and hopefully we'll see you in a few weeks' time. Right, okay, next piece of feedback is from Ben Rush. And Ben writes, "Greetings, Lee and Darren. Hope you're both in fine form." You both in fine form? I'm all right.
Both of mine are in fine form.
My form is form
I'll just
of...
check. There we go.
Form of Sparrow.
Yes.
Wonder Twin powers. Activate. Anyway, don't worry. Well, after some trash, we come to one of the greatest action films ever. Brackets, trademark. I was lucky enough to see it on one night showing at my local cinema when it was released in '93, and began a deep love for all Hong Kong action films, especially when John Woo and Chow Yun-fat were involved. I have had a copy of this fantastic movie since 1994 VHS turned to ribbons. Oh, Tartan Video, and that double cover one where he tries to be arty, and the other one where it has a film poster. How I missed thee. DVD burnt to bits, but it still remains a constant on my DVD shelf. This is the film for people who have never seen Hong Kong actioners and have only watched Hollywood films. Once you've seen it, and then go watch Tequila and Better Tomorrow 1 and 2. And for comic fans, read Hitman from Ennis and McRae, and you will twig who Ringo is based on. I guessed Simon Pegg as well. I guess Simon Pegg is a fan as well, seeing as he did the whole Woo love letter in space. Come on, we all did the diving around with fingers doing the 245s on the sofa and the floors, or was it just me? Damn, motherfucker! And that is true. The space behind the pub gunfight. Yep, that's all John Woo inspired. Doesn't help, does it, Dal?
No,
I didn't think it did. I thought it did. There you go.
It doesn't make me like this film anymore.
Okay. let's not discourage the man. He sent his feedback in.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You know.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, Ben continues. This film is daft as Looney Tunes, and the story, what there is, This film is daft as a Looney Tunes. The story is what there is Woo stock in trade, loyalty and brotherhood. But let's be honest, it's not the story we're here for. It's the twin 45 action. What Tequila does with the handguns makes Terminator look like a girl guide with his minigun in T2. Just look at the scene in the warehouse where he rappels down with a shotgun and takes down about 50 guys. It is glorious, and only the end sequence to Better Tomorrow 2 could beat it. Agreed. Better Tomorrow 2's end is pretty full on. Poor Mad Dog, besides the lead, is my favourite person in the film. He may be a complete badass, but he has rules and suffers for them. John Woo sneaks in as the ex-cop bar manager to move the plot along, and Foxy Ever the red shirt in waiting, and Tequila Woman issues are fun little bits to break up the carnage. The shootout between Mad Dog and Tony Allen is the million times better than the Hard Target version, but then the rumours of Jean-Claude Van Damme getting his team to re-edit this film with boxing gloves may explain that issue. I found the moments between Tequila and the baby at the hospital were equal parts fun and cute. A baby weeing has never been so needed before in film. Of course, an email about Hard Boiled without a bit about Chow Yun-fat is incomplete. The man is on the highest level when it comes to action film hard man. Also, is a brilliant straight actor. Just takes a look at some of his later films like Confucius, where he plays the lead from young to old, or Curse of the Golden Flower, where he plays a complete evil bastard, while most of the time sitting on a porta potty. Well, gents, I've waffled on long enough. What can I say? This film is fantastic. Thank you for picking this film, and may your 45s never run out of ammo. Cheers, gents. Ben Rush. Well, thank you very much for that, Ben. Yeah, see, that is the kind of letter I would have written about 10 years ago. Unfortunately, like I say, it just...
Obviously, somewhere along the line, you had that part of your soul removed.
Once again, my cold, black, cold-hearted soul has come back to just haunt me.
Can't help but see it in the cold light of day.
No. Anyway, and now the next piece of feedback is live from above the skies of Canada, or probably over the Atlantic at the moment.
Yep.
Let's hope he's not eating his fellow passengers because they've crashed. So, it's Herc. What did Herc have to say about Hard Boiled?
So, Herc writes, "Hello, gents.
Hello.
Somehow I'd never seen this before. I know it's hugely influential, though, which is why the first hour seemed like I'd seen it all before. But it's not the film's fault that so many other films have ripped it off or paid tribute. Still, the first hour is interesting as a piece of action movie history. Anyway, glad I kept watching, because from the moment they get to the hospital to the end of the movie, it's really good fun. Pretty amazed it manages to keep things interesting for a whole hour, but it manages it. Even though some of the timing on the choreography is a bit off, they get points for effort. Because a lot of this is ambitious and ballsy. Nice long take for corridor scene, good job. And it's more entertaining than a lot of modern action films, so yeah. Don't know when I'd return to it, but I'll still call it a classic. Love and hugs, Herc. P.S. The film really made me miss smoking indoors. Those were the days." Cheers, Herc.
Cheers, Herc. Yes, and again, good luck in Canada land.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not there, just keep flapping.
Yeah,
You'll get there eventually.
Just remember, if you hear any spluttering in the engines, don't worry. It's probably a Donnie Darko reference that we've organised for you or something.
Yep.
I don't know where we're going with that. Anyway, so next piece of feedback is from Martin Thompson. And Martin writes, "Hi guys, I think it might be the bunker of shun for me this week, as I didn't really enjoy this movie. This is the first time I've seen Hard Boiled, and probably any film of its ilk. Never really had the interest in Japanese action movies, but I was interested in seeing at least one. Well, this looked like Japanese Miami Vice with a soundtrack nicked from Commando. The film dragged on for me, and I didn't really follow the plot. I wouldn't say the action sequences were all that good either. Perhaps I expected a bit more from it. The hospital shootout produced some fun scenes though, and I enjoyed the gun battle, especially at the beginning, especially when Chow Yun-fat slid down the banisters shooting. So, how did he know his girlfriend would put her hand in the pocket with the rose at the right time again? So, on to next week. Cheers, Martin." Thank you very much for that, sir.
Yes, cheers, man.
Seems to be a very Marmite film.
I think so.
And that's good. That's good. I think that's a good thing. Because this time around, it's like, you know, I didn't want to have a shit film. I thought it was I just wished I loved it more.
I ain't gonna happen.
Hate myself. Anyway, last piece of written feedback is from Mr. Jack P. Starro. Over to you, sir. The Otter Puncher.
The Otter Puncher himself. The Puncher of Otters.
The Puncher of Otters. And is probably currently suffering some major depression after the Australian elections. Which I can only sympathise, sir. You have quite an ordeal ahead governmentally.
Yes. Him and Justin Pearson. Pierce, sorry. Yes.
Pearson.
Yes, it was Pearson. I got it right the first time.
Yeah.
About, you know, the last one to leave the country, turn the light off and stuff like that, you know.
Exactly.
I think it's what he said, something about boats. But
yeah. Yeah, if you get away now, the Navy won't catch you and bring you back.
Anyway, let's get on to Jack's feedback.
Okay.
So, I was going to record something that sounded like film noir gumshoe voiceovers, because Hard Boiled, get it?
Yep.
Because of Hard Boiled, haha.
Yes.
But I'm currently experiencing possibly the worst allergy attack of my life. So I'm lucky I got through the fucking movie. Haven't seen it before, but was well aware of it though. Have enjoyed other Hong Kong gangster movies of this ilk, starring Chow Yun-fat, like Better Tomorrow 2, and The Killer, which was the most hilariously unintentional homoerotic slow-motion close-up ever of the two bromancing gunmen smiling at each other amidst the blood and the carnage.
Yeah.
This felt like it might This felt like it might do that at one point, but didn't. Not sure if I was relieved or disappointed. So what did I think of this? It was pretty good. I think I may have suffered a little bit from the 20 years of hype fatigue, and I'm sure my allergy tsunami didn't help. Chow Yun-fat was a fucking badass back in the day, and it's interesting how he loses some of the charm in English movies. Perhaps because he's uncomfortable or out of his element, I don't know. Best bit was right near the beginning, where he's covered in flour and then gets blood bukkake.
Yay!
Epic.
Blood bukkake.
The big warehouse raid was pretty awesome too. They didn't cut corners on the squibs in this flick. There was some nice gun porn too. I especially appreciated the inclusion of multiple MAC-10s, including at one point the sweet spot of having an extended magazine and long suppressor. Just a shame it wasn't a pair being dual wielded by a hot chick with glasses and an armoured leather catsuit. To be honest, I think yeah, I know. I think we know what films he likes watching in his
Yes.
Indeed, yes. To be honest, I think I narcoed my way out of the plot. Sorry. I have no idea what this movie was really about, apart from an undercover cop betraying lots of mothers. Don't know whether the police chief was corrupt or not. In the end, a hospital got shut up all gnarly like. There was blood and ass everywhere. I tells you, ends on a boat. Okay, lads, sorry for the shitty effort, but at least I got through it. I'm going to do my best to pass out for the reels now. Love and bullets, Jack.
Thank you very much for that,
Jack. Cheers.
Yes. Yeah. Never mind. It does seem to be that if you haven't seen it before and you weren't around for the event when it first emerged, I think you're seeing it from sort of like a different perspective means that you you're kind of underwhelmed.
Yeah, just
the hype tsunami, as he said. Well, there you go. So that's the written feedback. We have 2 pieces of MP3 feedback waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
One is from Captain Obvious.
Captain Obvious.
So yes, one of the many
mysterious
and anonymous superheroes we've seemed to have lured into our feedback circle. Yeah, the knitting circle of justice. Let's hear what he has to say about Hard Boiled.
Hey ladies, it's Captain Obvious here. Here again with a bit of backfeed on the old apple pod for Hard Boiled. Hard Boiled, yes, what are these? Humbugs. Yes, sorry. Yes. So, Hard Boiled. So, the obvious thing about this movie is it's not in fucking English! So, excuse me. So, the obvious thing to do is to find a version with those little subtitles at the bottom. You can be asked reading, or find a version dubbed in the King's English. So, till next time, ladies, tell you how, pip pip, it's Captain Obvious. Till next week, chaps. It's all gone wrong.
Yes. Thank you very much for that, Captain Obvious. Yes, we will try to find a Hong Kong action movie in the Queen's English next time.
I say, have actual.
Yeah, what? Ticky Bo, oh, yes, cup of tea.
Time for tiffin.
Tiffin. Right, well, moving swiftly on, we have the last piece of MP3 feedback, which is, of course, from the Mr. Jim Moon, the man himself. So, yes, as I said before, you can hear him on Hypnobobs doing the X-Files influences. And we will have him on the cast next week.
We certainly shall.
And so, let's hear what he has to say about Hard Boiled.
Sly, Arnie, Statham, Seagal, Lundgren, Van Damme. I'll tell you what, all those muscle Marys can go suck a fucking dick. Chow Yun-fat is the ultimate action hero, appearing in the ultimate action films, where people get shot and bleed and die horribly. None of this posing in the mirror with your oiled pectorals, bollocks, and a bit of fisticuffs. No, this is exploding motorcycles. This is shotguns in the face. This is action. Take your Expendables bullshit and fuck off. Most things go in and out of style, except for sliding down a banister, firing off 2 handguns. You losers can keep on paying those aging tossers their Viagra bills, but me, I'll have a tequila.
Well, there you go. Short, sweet, and to the point. Thank you very much for that, Jim. Yes, he liked it. Well, that's great.
Excellent.
Yes. Now, Jim, if you can somehow get an enthusiasm transplant and replace that back into me, I would pay you money for that, because I really want to love this film again. Anyway, but yes, that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Wrap this up. And thank you very much for that, Jim. And again, you can hear Jim on Hypnobobs at hypnogoria.com, planetonline.com, and on iTunes. Right, so time to move on to the next film. Well, of course, as we've mentioned several times, it is the 20th anniversary of The X-Files. And we were invited by Pete and Elton and Jim to basically get involved in this celebration, and we said yes, which obviously meant that we had to cover a film, because we're not doing TV shows anymore, not since that whole Doctor Who thing back in episode 6, which turned into a bit of an epic. So we are now doing the X-Files movie, the first one. Which is also, I think, subtitled Fight the Future, I think was another subtitle for it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Fight the Future.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And so we will be reviewing that. Now, you've seen this, Darren, haven't you?
Yes, yeah, I saw this over in the US, actually.
Ooh, get you!
Yes, and I got that's where I got the what's that? I bought the video as well.
Really?
'Cause it was back then. Back when we wouldn't have got, the video for another 6 months. I'm talking a video cassette now. Okay?
Yes, for you youngsters that don't understand the analog world.
Yeah, just look it up on Wikipedia. I'll have something in there, Google it, a video cassette,
VHS.
Yeah. They were about the size of a small hardback novel. That was it,
And could hold 90 minutes if you were lucky.
That's right. Woohoo!
Yay! Anyway, so yes. So what do you remember of this film, and how do you? What's your memories of it, and did you like it?
I think it's because I was watching so much of the X-Files at the time. Which kind of I think the film, if I remember rightly, was more geared towards people who'd actually been watching the show. Than anything else. It wasn't a standalone movie, because there's a lot of stuff in here that refers to stuff that's going on in, or was going on in the show at the time. Things like, I don't know,
the black oil,
bees, that sort of thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I do remember shouting at the screen, "Scully, wake the fuck up. Look up, Scully.
Yeah.
Look up.
Yeah.
Look up, Scully. Hello, Scully.
Look the fuck up."
Yes.
Cool. And did you actually like the film? You liked it, yeah?
I must have liked it because I bought it. So
that doesn't mean anything. We were going through a video collection phase, the pair of us, I think. So, have you watched it since getting it on VHS?
No, I haven't. No.
Righty-ho. I have to confess and say that I loved the X-Files, and early X-Files, seasons 1 and 2 were, for me, very, very, very good TV. Season 3, when Gillian Anderson fell pregnant, and then they decided to write it into the mythology, and then have her disappear for sort of like half the season. Suddenly it was like, hold on, we're on wonky ground here. This mythology isn't as written in stone as we'd like to think it is. And by the time we got to season 5, it was like, oh, you're just making this shit up as you go. And so when the film came along, which I think was at the end of season 5, and was supposed to act as some kind of bridge to season 6.
Yeah.
And I think that was when Duchovny's making all those kind of grumbly, I think I'm leaving kind of noises. Yeah, I do remember just thinking, make a standalone episode, 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 and then they made one that was wholly and entirely arc-based. And I remember sitting in the cinema thinking, oh, okay, never mind. And then watching it all the way through and going, oh, God, no. Because that was the thing. For me, the charm of the X-Files always was the never going to get explained. We are just humans on Earth with human technology, nothing fancy, no way of proving this shit. And we might see stuff that they might see, but it's up to us to make our minds up, which is essentially what most of the first season was.
Yeah.
And the second season. But then, like you say, look up Scully. Look the fuck up Scully.
Yeah.
What the hell is that humongous fucking thing above your head, Scully?
Oh, flying saucer, Scully.
Yeah. At which point it becomes okay. You know the way the writing was going, the whole story arc thing. That actually, I remember the film being the moment where I just checked out of the X-Files entirely, and would only come back when I knew they were standalone episodes. And I literally from that moment on became selective. And I don't think I ever watched a whole season all the way through after that. I'd literally just stopped watching, stopped collecting the videos.
Yeah.
Stopped buying the DVDs when they came out. I literally just went, okay, heard this episode's a standalone episode. Thanks very much. I'll leave it there. I'll watch that. And I was literally keeping an eye on the episode guides. So, for me, this next film is going to be a bit of an arduous slog, unfortunately, because while I did love the X-Files, this is not in my opinion, not the best example of it.
No.
Especially when they had the cheek to have that sort of in-gag with Mulder, and he's going for a needless wee up against a wall, and it turns out to be the Independence Day poster.
Oh, right.
Which is some kind of nod and a wink to, ha ha ha, we're better than the Independence Day, which actually, ironically, was actually a better film. But anyway, I digress. But that's how I felt about it. So I'm not going into this with the most cheerful of hearts, I'll be honest with you. I thought we got the short straw on this. I really wanted to do the TV show. But anyway, there you go. So let's commiserate the X-Files next week with Elton from the Shonky Lab, Jim, obviously from Hypnobobs, and us. So if you got any feedback for the X-Files the movie, aka X-Files Fight the Future, send it in to blackdog@geekplanetonline.com. Or leave it on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog Podcast. And don't forget, if you are a member of that Facebook group, if you do want to come along and we haven't invited you to the, don't take it personally. Just go to the events tab, click on the fact that you're attending, and you will be added to the list.
Yes. Have you made it public?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's about it, really. Darren, thanks again, as ever.
Thank you very much.
And yes, we'll see you all next week for the X-Files. Till then, Daddy, bye.
Bye.
Tequila, it makes me happy. Oh, con tequila, it feels fine. Con tequila when the doors are opened, and con tequila when the calling time.
No, I like it in here.
Hello, me, you.
Hello, me, you. That's me. And
That's
this is you.
And you. And me.
Yes.
Me and you.
Me and you.
Lots and lots for us to
Me,
do.
you, and me always. Tra-la-la-la.
Oh,
Biscuits.
You and me. Yeah. You said you recall about 7 years ago. Now
You said, but you were just so
so
down.
down.
I love and you.
Thought you were putting me down
and
until
there
you
you
were.
were.
Down
That
where
way,
the
battle was that old days.
Get away now.
Get away. Get away. Go on. Get off. Get off my porch.
Fuck off my lawn.
And of course that leads us now saying, can't you feel the love tonight, tonight? Circle of life. It's a wheel of fortune. You close your eyes, play that, and something like Daniel, and you can't tell the difference.
Hey, look at Daniel. She must be the clues in my eyes. Do you remember that?
Seems like me, a candle in the wind. Never knew the clang to when the rain shadow.
I would like you, but I was just a kid. They too don't love me fool. The legendary news. Does
Somebody
anyone
called an ambulance out when John's had a stroke.
Has anyone got a birthday in the audience?